Well, it's Thursday, and you know that means that my face and voice drop into an e-blast from Warren that you're going to receive, and that as you're receiving this, I want you to know how much I miss seeing and hearing your faces and your voices as we have the opportunity to be together. But I hope these informational videos have been helpful to you, providing some guidance and direction about what's going on in life, ministry, culture in these days. And together we're praying for one another, want to encourage one another. Today I have 4 G's. 4 G's I want to talk to you about. The first is about giving. Not to ask you to give. In fact, I have been very intentional about minimizing the plea, the appeal, the ask, if you will, of giving in these days, because I know that each and every one of you have walked through a lot of uncertainty about what's happening in your life, your business, your job, your income. But what I do want to do is just pause to say thank you, Warren family, for how faithful you have been in giving. I have just been so overwhelmed week after week after week as you have just consistently and sacrificially and steadfastly continued to give and to invest in the life and the ministry of our church and to sustain the ongoing commitments that we have, whether it's in global missions around the world or whether it's in our local community or just in helping to support our Warren family and ministry. I am so grateful for you. Many of you have asked, how are we doing? And what I can say to you is that our bills are paid, our expenses are down. Just simple things like not having to take care of the normal costs that are often associated with utilities during these months has been something helpful to us. Our staff has been paid, and we've been able to meet those obligations and to be able to continue to supply and support the needed ministry that has happened in these days. And I don't know how to sufficiently say to you, I just want to thank you for your giving. Secondly, let me say something to you about gatherings. Many of you are aware that we've begun to regather both here on the Augusta campus and in Grovetown, outdoors, under tents, and these have been great opportunities for us to see one another, to come back together. While there have been limited crowds and responses, both through the social distancing and those who've chosen to come, we have been grateful to be able to offer that opportunity, and we're going to continue to do what we're doing right now for the upcoming weeks. We do an RSVP at the tent on the Augusta campus, not because we're trying to restrict people, but because we're trying to prepare for people. We try to have ample amounts of hand sanitizer. We try to set each of the tent structures, the undercover structures, with chairs that are sufficiently apart and with the numbers of people that we feel we can carefully and safely put into place. Of course, our staff have been wearing masks. We've been doing the things we need to do to try to maintain the best precautions in all of this. But again, I want to be sure you know we're going to keep delivering week after week the ministry through our social media platforms, through our Warren A Way of Life, through our online streaming. And so whether you're able to come or whether you feel that you need to maintain yourself at home, we just want to be connected with you every week. But we are thankful for these gatherings and what it's allowed us to do. On the field at Warren, it's open. You can come. You don't have to have a reservation. You just come there. And the same thing is true at Grovetown. And we've been very happy and very grateful to have these gatherings together. It's been a wonderful privilege and experience for me. The third thing that I would want to talk to you about is not only about thanking you for your giving and just reminding you about the gatherings, but I just need to be honest and say to you today, I'm grieving a major decision that was handed down by the Supreme Court of the United States here in the last few days. It is a decision that relates to sexual orientation and how that plays out by applying that to some former legislation, or not even legislation, but from some former decisions that were made by the court in the past. And while I don't have the ability to go into all of the intricacies and the details of that today, I would just say to you, I continue to be absolutely overwhelmed and amazed at how biblical instruction and a biblical worldview is in direct opposition and collision with the direction of our culture in these days. And so today I've asked that there be an attachment to this video. It is a briefing that was provided by Dr. Al Mohler, who is the president of Southern Seminary in Louisville, Kentucky. He has often been able to provide effective voice in the cultural conflicts and biblical apologetics. And so that is attached for you, a link that you can look at, a briefing that you can read that might help to give more awareness of all of this. But I simply cannot let this matter pass without telling you that it creates tremendous concern and very disconcerting conflict within me about what this may do with religious liberty and the role that we play in that in the future. And so just continue to pray, if you will. But having said that and the heaviness of that, let me just also talk about giving thanks. And I am giving thanks today because I know that I have continued to see in these days the heart of the people of Warren, the way you love one another, the way you're caring for one another. I keep hearing about that. I watched and looked at some Facebook posts just this week of how one of our mature ladies classes, some of the teachers had gone out and provided a little packet on the porch and waved at a distance at some of those who were in their class, and it just so encouraged my heart to see, and I continue to see and to know of the care that's going on in these days. I'm also thankful for this hour of opportunity. I mean, yes, I'm struggling with the difficulty, the conflict, the darkness that surrounds us, but this is an hour that God has prepared us for. God knows that we're living in these days, in this time, this moment, and He's called us to live on mission in this moment. And so I don't ever want to lose sight of what we talked about Sunday, the hope of the coming of Christ. And to remember the words of my pastor, Adrian Rogers, who always talked about how, yes, it's dark, but it's getting gloriously dark when you read the Bible. And so we're looking at the glory of God even in the midst of the difficulty and the darkness of these days. So I just want to give thanks to God for what He's called us to do, what He's enabled us to do, what I know you're doing, and how we're working together and serving the Lord together. So whether it is by Facebook or online streaming or YouTube or under a tent or out in a field, I'm looking forward to connecting and continuing our series on togetherness this week as we seek to stir one another up to love and good deeds in our worship together. So, to that end, I look forward to Sunday. And today I just want to say thank you.